That mutes all y'all. That's a problem. Okay, let's go over this thing. It wasn't really hard. I think if you remember the first semester, this stuff should have been easy. Very, very easy. So let's work on it. The charges for an international call made using calling card for two phone companies are shown on the table. Blah, 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 blah. What is the length of the phone call that would cost the same no matter which company is used? What is the keyword here? Same, right? Let me just put them equal to each other. So let's find the equation for the first one. What is it? Or 3x plus 35, right? What about next one? 2x plus 45. I don't want to go much in detail with those because you should know already by now which one is x and y, which one is b and y. So what we need to do, because it's the same, is to put it together, right? So why don't we take this whole thing? No, no, no. To our other sheet and work on it. Ooh. So my regular cuts are getting very colorful. It's not, trust me. They're not learning about number lines. They're actually doing inequalities. They're doing inequalities. You haven't learned that yet. I told you they were flipped. See? She doesn't know what that is. All right, so let's start with this one. It says that we have to put them equal to each other, right? So we put 3x plus 35 equals to 2x plus 45. And we know that the first step is to combine variables, right? Ayana. Switch with Ayana, please. Minus 2x minus 2x, correct? We know that we have a line right here, and there's the inverse operation right there. Once we do that, that goes away, and we end up with 1x right here. Or you can just put that. An x there tells you that's 1x. If it was 0x, it wouldn't be there, right? So thinking logically, that's 1x. There's no need for the 1. 35, bring this down, you get 45. Now we have a second step which says to either add or subtract and nothing else. This thing is already adding, so we must subtract instead. Going by inverse operation. X equals 10. And that's the end of that. That means that, what does the x represent in this situation? I'm sorry? What does the x represent? Thank you. Somebody's awake. The length of a phone call. Yes, thank you. So that means that when both companies are offering for 10 minutes, it will cost the same. It will be exactly the same. And what is that cost? How do I figure it out? No, we already did inverse operations, and we found that it was 10 minutes, right? We plug it in, so we do 3 times 10, which is 30, plus 35, 65. And is it in what? Dollars or what? Cents. 65 cents. Now let's see if we did it right. So 2 times 10, it will be 20, plus 45, 65. So basically what they're telling us is that when you are using the phone card for 10 minutes on each company, that's when it's the same, and it is the price will be 65 cents. After that, it would change. So that'll be the answer. X equals 10. That's it. That's not it. When is it better to use card from company B? Why? How do you figure that out? So I explained this yesterday when I told you to go from the yards and to go to the next one. If you didn't quite get it, go back to that video because I don't want to spend too much time on it. But basically, what did you do to figure it out? Plug in 11, right? Which is the next minute. After the next minute, see which one will be the best deal. Because at this point, at minute 10, they're both the same. That's when they meet. So if I plug in 11, what do you get for this one? You get 3 times 11, which is 33, plus 35. What do you get? 68. And the other one is 2 times 11 is 22 plus 45. What do you get? 67, which is less than 68, right? That means that after 10 minutes, it is company B is a lot cheaper, right? Not a lot, but it's cheaper. If you were to grab those things, it would look like this. This is 35. This is 45. So 35 is kind of going up like that. 45 is kind of going up too, but it kind of stays low. That would be mean at 10. After that, company B stays low. It's cheaper. Are we all following? Move on. Done with that one. Liam is setting up folding chairs for a meeting. If he arranges the chairs in 9 rows of the same length, he has 3 chairs left. Over. If he arranges the chairs in 7 rows of the same length, he has 19 left over. How many chairs does Liam have? I know some kids had difficulties with this one, getting the problem out, but it wasn't actually that hard. If you just came up with the idea that you're doing an equation equals an equation. So let's try to figure out what the equation is. It's saying 9 rows. Do we know how many chairs are in each row? No. Do we? We're down, so that's my x, right? And it says we have how many left? We have plus 3, right? That's the first equation. The other one is 7 rows, and we don't know how many chairs per row, and we have 19 left. So the equation would be 9x plus 3 equals 7x plus 19. And that's going to tell us what the value of x is, right? Basically, how many chairs are in each row. So let's take that over to this side. That would be 9x plus 3 equals 7x plus 19. So our first step is to combine the variables, right? 7x, 7x. We get 2x plus 3 equals 19. Second step says to either add or subtract. Guys, I better see these things on the test tomorrow. It forces you to guide it. Sorry. So now you do negative 3, right? Because it's adding. And you get 2x equals 16. Third step says to multiply or divide. It's multiplying, so I divide by 2. X equals 8. So that means that there were 8 chairs in each row. But that's not the question. What is the question?
How many chairs are there?
How many chairs total, right? How do I figure that out? Plug it back in. So 9 times 8. Somebody move this thing because it kind of got. Plus 3. What do you get? And you should get the same thing when you're doing the other one. 7 times 8 is what? What is 7 times 8? Plus 19? Good. It looked difficult, but it really wasn't. And this is part of the higher order thinking because they're not necessarily in that format that it's a little easier to understand. You have to think about it. Yeah. To divide. Here. Because it's 2x. Got it? Okay, good. I subtracted 3x. No. Well, yeah, on the top I subtracted 7x to combine the variables. Then I ended up with this. 2x plus 3 equals 19. Inverse operation to get rid of the... Here's the deal, guys. I want the x on the left side, and I want it alone. So I'm going to do everything I can on the left side to get rid of all the extra stuff. The 3 first, because I don't want it, right? So the only way to get rid of that one is by doing the opposite, inverse operation. So it goes away. But then at the end, you still have that 2 hanging around. I don't want that 2. I don't want 2x. I only want 1x, right? To get rid of that, you divide it by 2. Are you following? Yeah, I don't want 2x, so I want 1x. Just divide by a number that is next to it. You want to get rid of those numbers. All right. I don't, because I'm going to use it for the next class. All right, rent a tent, rents party tents for a flat fee of $365 plus 150, 25 a day. Capital Rentals rents party tents for a flat fee of $250 plus 175 a day. Delia wrote the following equation to find the number of days for which the total cost charged by the two companies would be the same. Find and explain the error in Delia's work. What did she do wrong? Look at it.
The 365 isn't.
Those are the x, right? She flipped them. It was supposed to be 125x plus 365 equals 175x plus 250. She did not know which one was the variable. What? Sorry, I got crazy. Do we have any questions on that one? The next one, Liliana is training for a marathon. She runs the same distance every day for a week. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she runs 3 laps on a running trail and then runs 6 more miles. On Tuesday and Sunday, she runs 5 laps on the trail and then runs 2 more on, miles. On Saturday, she just runs laps. When I was reading that, I was like, okay, well, I know a lap can be very different because whenever you're running on a track, it's like 400 meters. And then somewhere else, it could be a lot bigger or a lot smaller. So the question here is, what are the laps? How many miles are in a lap? And that should automatically trigger your brain to say, that's my x, because I don't know. And that's it. Put it together. 3x plus 6 equals 5x plus 2. And then solve for it. Are we all following? So that's 5. Let's take it over here. You're going to get a negative number. 3x plus 6 equals 5x plus 2. Subtract 5 for your combination of variables. You end up with negative 2x plus 6 equals 2. Subtract 6. You end up with negative 2x equals negative 4. Divided by negative 2. X equals 2. So that means every lap has 2 miles. Yep, that's why it's. And the answer was positive.
Oh, it's an equal sign.
Yeah. If you still don't get it, go back to the video. I try to go over this fast because it's homework. Like you should have done it already. It's not like you're doing it right now. Do we have any questions on that? No? Everyone got it? Good? Can we move forward? Yes. I think you need to go back to the very first video where we started doing this because you don't get that part, and I can't spend too much time on it. Shh. All right, Tabaria, look over here and pay attention closely. Guys, be quiet. I'm going to make this up. 4x plus 5 equals 15. No, let's make it 6. Let's make it 25. All right. I want this x right here. Do you see it? I want it by itself. I don't want anything else. I don't want a 5. I don't want a 4. I want it by itself on that side. How do I get rid of the 5 first? Here's the reason why these things work. Because they tell you what to do. I'm not writing them because they're pretty. It's just because they tell you what to do. The first step is to combine them. We already combined the variables. They're on the same side. The second step is to add or subtract. What is adding or subtracting there? No, keep going because you're gonna ask me this again and I don't want to go back to it. What are we doing? What is he doing for the second step? It's subtracting right now? What is it doing? What is the equation doing? Adding, so what is the opposite? So you minus 5, that goes away. 4x equals, what do you get here? 20. Tabari, are we done? Is the x alone? What is the x and the 4 doing? Actually, stop. We already on step 3, and the step 3 already tells me what to do. It says you either multiply or divide. What is it doing right now? What is the 4 and the x doing? What is the opposite? What would you divide by? And that leaves me with the x by itself. What is the answer? 5. So let's start with a little note on our basic operations with fractions. If we have 3/4 times 1/2, how do I get the answer? Like butterfly? I should do this? That's butterfly. Then, Ayana, perfect. You multiply across. You don't cross multiply, you multiply across. So 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 2 is 8. That's my answer. That's it. Multiplication is the easiest one of all the operations with fractions. Do we have any questions on this? Yes, the answer you can simplify at the end. That's not a big deal. I'm sorry? Yes. Yes. What if you had 3/4 divided by 1/2? How would you do that? I'm dividing, I'm not multiplying. Nope. You can't divide across. That's not how it works. That's all you need to do. Keep, change, flip. You keep the first fraction, you change the sign to a multiplication, and you flip the second fraction. Now you have a multiplication, you can multiply across. We really don't divide with divisions, with fractions. We just multiply. So that'll be 6, and that'll be 4. And now you can simplify this to 3/2. What did you say? Because that's the rule. Because that's the rule. I mean, it wouldn't work if you. I mean, you could have change, keep, flip. I mean, flip, change, keep. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as one of them is flipped.
And then it's gonna be 1.50.
The idea is that it's supposed to remind you of KFC, but with the last 2 letters. Yeah.
And then you simplify it, and it's gonna be 1.5.
And you could get it into 1 and 1.5 actually, if you want to turn it into a mixed number. But you don't need to. What? Do we have any questions for that? Are we good? What? Guys, we use this because it reminds you of KFC. That's why. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you change the first one or the second one. I mean, I don't care if you flip the first one or the last one, as long as one of them gets flipped. We just use that because it's easy for your brain to remember. Oh, KFC chicken. And you get it. But it doesn't matter. Huh? Right. All right, for addition, what if we have 3/4 plus 1/2? You change the denominator Or you can do the following, which I think is easier because I don't have to really worry about it. I'll just multiply these two, and it gives me 8, right? Then multiply diagonally, and that is 2 times 3 is 6. Then multiply diagonally again, you get 4 times 1 is 4. That is 10 over 8. And you simplify it to 5 over 4, and that's it. Or let me do it maybe the way that you learn it. 3 over 4, then you have to find the least common denominator. So to make it easier, you do 2 times 2, which is 4, right? You multiply this times 2, both sides. And now you get 4 and 2, right? And that goes away. So 4 just moves over, and then 3 plus 2 is 5. I don't care which way you do it, as long as you do it one of those ways. If you have another way of doing addition with fractions, then use that. If you have no way, go back to the video and watch this. You should have learned this in 5th grade. Yeah.
Because you multiply in the bottom.
At the beginning.
I have a question. How is it going to be 6 plus 4? That's where I got.
Because you're still adding. When you, yeah.
Also, in the top two, you have to add the other numbers.
Yeah, basically. The one on the top is just to give you numbers on the very top and keep the same denominator, and you just add them. The answers. Yes. You can turn it into a mixed number, which would be 1 and 1/4. But it doesn't really matter. I'll take it as that for now. Guys, if you don't have this, I need you to go to IXL and practice on this, because these are skills that you should have known already. Adding with fractions. For subtracting, it'll be the same way. 4 minus 1 over 2. You can do it the way that I show you over here by multiplying the denominators. You get 8, and then multiply diagonally down, so that'll be 6. Bring over the sign, and then multiply this, and that'll be 4. What is 6 minus 4? 2. 8. You can simplify. It's exactly the same thing. The only thing that difference is the operation. Yeah. This is the only thing that is different from adding and subtracting. And that's why I like it that way, because I don't have to think about which one is the least common denominator. I just multiply at the bottom and multiply diagonally, and that's it. Well, you do have to do the one on the top diagonally down to be the first number. This one has to be the first number. This one has to be the second number. Yes. Yeah, you multiply it. I'm sorry? I put a little thing over there. I don't think I have it anymore. So basically, if you have, let's say, 2 over 4 plus 3 over 5, here's what you do. The first step is to multiply the denominators, these two. What is 4 times 5? 20. Guys, don't stop moving. Don't stop moving now, please. The second step is to multiply the numerator and the denominator. So 10m. That gives me 10, right? Move the sign over. And the third step is to multiply the denominator by the numerator of the next fraction. Like that. And that'll be 12. And now all you have to do is add them. 22 over 20, and you can simplify it to what? That's it, right? Did we have to do much with it? If you don't get it, go back to this video and go slowly, because I put arrows and that stuff to show you where it's going. I don't think you would be able to get, well, probably we can do one, but this can get very complicated because you need to know all of this, how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply, and how to divide with fractions in order for you to do that monster. So let's start with number 3 and do that on your own as a DOL. Um, uh, 303. I'm sorry, 304. A is like X. Yes, thank you. It's just a variable. Your homework is going to be, when you're done with that, is going to be the guided practice on the page 304. Yeah, simply the whole page. And notice that it's a lot of fractions, and you also have decimals. Isn't it? Oh, 306, sorry. 306. Yes, you're going to do all of it. All of it. Yes, reflect on it. What does 9 say? Isn't it? Yeah. Answer 9. Answer 9. No.